125 is pretty straightforward. Go ahead and get your bottom skid plate and side protector, and we're going to install the two side protectors on the side of the skid plate. We have a small one, and you'll see that there are two holes here, and if you look at your bottom plate, there's a smaller area that's got a cutout here. This area is smaller, and then there's an area that wraps all the way around. Let's take the small portion side guard, and the holes on that just go right over the little pegs that are on the side plate. And then we're going to use our smaller smaller body clips, and clip them on. With the clips going in, you probably want them going in from the top so they don't fall out towards the bottom. And we will put those two on. We're going to do the same for the other side using the larger panel, and the nubs line up. And you're going to use your smaller body clips and push them in. For the next step, we are going to install this onto our Baja. And that's very, very straightforward and easy to do once you get the feel for it. If you look on the bottom, there's three nubs here, and they have a recess. They're actually an L hook coming up from the bottom. And if you look at the bottom of your chassis, there's a matching set of three slots in the chassis. We're going to put this onto the chassis and push it forward. Slip it onto the chassis and push it forward so these hooks are caught in the chassis. And then this bottom portion here is going to align up with the hole in the bottom of the chassis. We'll push that up in, and then we will put a 6mm or one of the smaller C-clips in to hold it into position. I'm going to pull my Baja out on my bench here a little bit, and we'll get going on this step. All right, I've got our 20-something pound beast all turned over here, and you can see the three slots that I was referring to, and these are the three hooks that go into them. It's a matter of wiggling it around. Let's turn it over, stick it on there, and just wiggle it around until they fall in. You do want to make sure that you lift up a little bit on the back here. I kind of like to do this and push it in. And you'll see that the chassis is visible through the three holes, and when it's back, the chassis is not visible. So you want to push that forward until this rides against the front, and there's no hole visible. At that point, this will press fit right in through this hole in the back, and then you'll use a small body clip. And I'm going to say that again, you must use a small body clip in the back here, because a large one just is not going to fit properly. And there's no way that I can get a camera angle on this for you to see, but you're going to take the clip and secure that bottom through the hole in the chassis. That's how that mounts up. Pull this out a little bit. Set our Baja back up here. Damn, we're getting real close on this thing. Just a few more steps, and we're going to be out driving this. So we're going to move forward now to step 126, which is assembling the side rails. Get out all your pieces and parts, and let's get her done. Step 126, assembling the side rails. The side rails are universal. They're both the same. However, what we do want to take a look at here is that there's a top and a bottom. The top comes across, and then it has an angled portion that comes down. The bottom just goes straight across. And it's going to be the same on the other one. What we do need to look at is, as we are putting the pins in, is that we have a matched set here. One goes on each side. The pins are going to go in one direction on one set and in the opposite direction on the other, so they're opposing. And we're going to hold these with the slanted part towards us. Grab one of your body posts. We're going to stick it in, and the directions are telling us to go through to the second hole. So you're going to peer through, or you can actually put your finger on here. That's the first hole. And then the next hole that you come to is going to be the second hole. And we're going to look at the hole through the little slot here. See if we can get the camera to focus in. You can see that second hole right in there. So we're going to take a body clip, a larger one, and we are going to insert it into, I guess I have to see this to do it. Going to insert that into the hole. And you're going to want to note the direction of your body clip. If you turn it around, it's not going to insert because it's fairly closed on that side. So the open or barbed end has a certain direction that it's going to go in. So take a look at that as you're putting your clips on. It's pretty straightforward. Maybe we can see what I'm talking about here. See how the post is towards the rear of that slot? So if I try to put my pin in this direction here, it's not going to go in. So if you're having trouble getting your pin in, turn it around. And it should go right in. Having troubles here because I can't see as I'm working for the camera. You can see it, but I can't. Haha. Okay, enough of that. Let's get this all lined up. Push the pin in, and we're going to redo this on the other side. Now again, this has the angled portion going forward, and the pins are to the outside, so this one, the angle part's going forward, and we're going to put the pins in on this side. We'll get this done real quick so that we can move on to our next step. And the next step is going to be 127, and we're going to install these onto our Baja. Okie doke. Let me get the Baja positioned here. We'll be right back. Let's get these put on. Step 127 again is very straightforward. We're going to install the side rails onto our Baja, one on each side. Again, we're going to take a look and see the angled portion here. The angled portion is going to go towards the front of the Baja with the pins sticking outward. You see the two posts here that we installed earlier on the parts that come out. They're going to slide through the two holes. Very simply put them together and use two of the larger body clips to hold them in. It's going to be the same on both sides. Spin this around. Do the same thing. Making sure pins are out and the angled part is pointing forward. Slip our body pins in. Again, they only go in one direction, so if you have trouble pushing them in, turn your pin around. If you can't find the hole in there, you may have to push it together a little bit. These are plastic parts. And they go on just like so. Ah! Almost dropped my stand on the floor. There you go. You can see what they look like. Post should be even with the top. Next, we're going to put on our bottom trays, or our mud pans, and go ahead and grab all the pieces and parts for that, and we're going to get it together. That'll be step number 128. In this step, we're working with two body panels. They're actually a mud panel that goes on the bottom, a dirt guard. And they're two different numbers. As you can see, they are opposites of each other. They're the same size, but they're opposites. This little portion here is going to go towards the front of your Baja. Again, these just clip on. There's two holes in the side that clip onto here. I'm sorry, they click onto here. And then there's two holes on the bottom that hook onto these little nubs. So we're just very simply going to set that up there and press those on and use some body clips to hold it. It's going to work the same on both sides. You have to lift up a little bit on the plate to expose the hole and get those on. Just like so. That's what it's going to look like once it's attached. Going to go ahead at this point and do the same on the back. Pull this forward so we can rotate it around. Bench is almost too small for working on these. I have a larger workbench that I do all my maintenance work on where the Baja can freely spin around. The next step is going to be a fun one. And I suggest that you spend a little bit of time. I'm going to go through and build one tire and show you how it's done. There are many, many, many different ways to do it. And I'm going to show you a way that I do it that's just a little bit different than what the directions show you. However, feel free to follow the directions if you so choose, because as long as they get on and you follow the basic principles of what needs to happen, you'll be fine. But there's many, many, many different ways to put tires together. Okay, that's what it's going to look like. Minus tires and a body, we have a completed Baja here. Go find somewhere, set it aside. You're going to need your workbench to build tires. Let's go ahead and open up the tire bag, and we'll get rolling on step number 130.